Hello, everybody who's there. I see there's 3 of you there. If you're on video, you can pop on and I can see you. If not, no worries. I'm going to start with Peter Semino's question with, hi, John, if my idea doesn't win, will anyone steal that idea? 43 North is not in the business of stealing ideas. We're in the business of finding ideas and finding the best ones throughout the world. So no, that being said, 43 North does not sign any NDAs. That's so our process of judging works correctly. Judges would not be able to look at all of the deal flow if they had to sign NDAs. So no, we do not steal ideas, but I think one of the best things I've heard is when I went to watch a VC speak in New York City, and he said there's really no marketplace for ideas. And he goes, that's true, because go try to sell your idea somewhere, and that place doesn't exist. It's really the team behind those ideas, and ultimately 43 North is looking for the best teams that can make these ideas work and turn them into profitable businesses. Next question, will there be another competition next year like this one, or only this year one? We are in the plans of hoping to be able to do this for the next 5 to 10 years. Ultimately, with the success we are having currently, we foresee that happening. So we are very excited about this year and focused on this year, but we're ultimately looking at how we can improve things for next year and the following years after as well. This next question from Omar, can you provide me with some information how the intellectual rights and patenting will be handled when presenting an invention to 43 North? I would suggest, first off, to look into legal counsel on your own, no matter if you're joining 43 North or any other business plan competition, or just fielding offers for your ideas. Then I would also look at our terms and conditions. All these ideas will be turned that make it to the second round. There will be a video component to those. Those will be accessible to the community, to the world, to be able to see those ideas, which I think is a great opportunity for these teams, because you will get access to people all over the world that will now see your idea via our plethora of social media options, things like that. And then ultimately those finals 11 teams, those will be filmed and shared with the community at large as well throughout the country and ultimately the world. Okay, the next question. Do we give up a percentage of our company if we get funding? Yes, as noted in the terms and conditions, 43 North takes 5% non-dilutive equity out of all the companies, no matter if you got first place of $1 million, the next 6 places of $500,000, or the next 4 places of $250,000. So yes, you do give up a percentage of your funding. In turn, you get the prize money. You also get incubator space free for a year here in Buffalo, New York, in addition to mentorship, and also you get tax-free zones that we'll pair you up with here with the Startup New York program, which is a nice incentive. Matthew's question, what is the one thing that judges are looking for most? It sounds like team is the most important factor. What is the most important factor outside of the team? I really truly do believe team will probably be the biggest factor, and then ultimately paired up with your idea. So if your idea is to do something in the sports industry, why is Matthew and his team the right people to make that idea happen? Do you have experience in the sports fields? What is your background relative to that, and why are you the team to make this idea work? Because as I mentioned earlier, ideas, there's really, everybody has an idea. It doesn't mean it's going to work, but it's the people that can execute on those ideas. And then ultimately it's going to come down to the ideas itself, and can you prove that there's a market and things like that. So ultimately, I don't want to say there's one thing that weighs more than the other. I think team is very important, but everything's ultimately weighted the same in round one. So hopefully that answers your question, Matt. Let's see. If your idea doesn't win and your idea is great, is it possible to seek funding from 43 North, loans, and other investors? If you don't win ours, it doesn't mean that you can't go seek funding from other people. You could always, enter 43 North the next year as well. We will be giving away our funding for the winners, so we won't have extra money to give away. That being said, hopefully you'll get some exposure to other investors and be able to say that you have a great idea to other people. But 43 North is in the business of giving those top 11 teams the prizes for year one. Does it matter is your business is already licensed as an LLC but not operating? The best answer I have for this is that you need to have an entity formed such that we can take equity. You could wait until you win, but it's probably going to make it, you should probably do it before then, so an LLC could work. I would, once again, if you don't, I would always be consulting legal counsel. I would have that as a member of your team. If anything I've learned from being around startups and everything is that a legal entity is always a strong asset to have on your team. Okay, this next one, let's see. Can our startup be an idea? That is, I do not start anything, but I have a great idea. Yes, that was the goal of 43 North. We wanted to keep this open to everybody, so we take idea companies, we take pre-revenue companies, and we also take revenue stage companies. All of them will be judged accordingly. So if you have an idea stage company, we don't expect you to have a strong CEO in place. You may have two great technical people that have a great idea and know how to build it, but they don't know how to actually get it to market. So you won't be penalized for that, but ideas are welcomed. A majority of what we're seeing is idea stage, but we're seeing the whole gamut. So from idea to pre-revenue to revenue stage companies. So yes, you can just be an idea back of the napkin, essentially. Let's see, what do we got here? Do we have to be generating revenue, or would it be okay to apply if we are launching in 3 months from now? That's fine. That kind of coincides with the last question that we had there. So you can be an idea stage company. You do not need to be generating revenue. It doesn't necessarily mean if you are generating revenue that you're going to have a stronger business anyway. So we're really looking for the best ideas that are scalable, that are really big ideas. So that could be somebody that's already in business. It could also be somebody that just had an idea last night that just found, a couple people tomorrow and formed this great team and said, hey, we're going to make this happen. And 3 months from now, 6 months from now, it turns into a heck of a business. So. Do we expect you to be USA focused? No, the cool thing about 43 North is that it's open up to the world. So we've had applications from over 83 countries as of yesterday. So that's pretty impressive. All 49 states besides Iowa. And you will ultimately move to Buffalo, New York for that first year. And I think you'll stay here after that. But if you don't, you're free to go wherever you like. But your business itself can be generating revenue from wherever throughout the world. If teams are such a big portion, how do we pitch the team? There doesn't seem to be many team-focused questions on the application. I think one of the first questions on the application is kind of define your team, who's on your team. That's where I would focus energy, but you should be focusing energy and make this clear on the whole application. That is just one portion of the application, and it's weighted exactly the same as all the other portions. So team is important no matter where you're going as an investor, if you're pitching VCs, angels, and ultimately 43 North, we want to know that you are the right people to make this idea happen. But we also need to know why the idea is great, if you have any patents, if the market's viable, and things of that nature, how much money you're going to generate. So if I was going to define the team question, I would just do it to the best attributes of your team. Write that up, however that is. If David yourself, I give everything about David that makes him relevant to the idea itself and why it's going to help the idea succeed. Okay, Matthew, will revenue stage companies be more attractive than pre-product or pre-revenue stage companies? No, absolutely not. We're going at this unbiasedly, so if you're a revenue stage company, you do not have an advantage. You might even have you're going to be judged differently than you were if you were an idea stage company. So we've tried to level out the playing field so everybody has an even shot here, and I think we've done a pretty good job at that. So I don't believe a pre-revenue stage or a pre-product has a disadvantage if you were making revenue. So, no. Okay, is it necessary to move to Buffalo? I'm currently working as a business consultant and I travel Monday through Thursday of every week, and I'm not sure if my other team members are willing to relocate as well. Yes, the ultimate requirement of this program is to move to Buffalo, New York for 1 year and be working out of the 43 North Incubator / Accelerator program for a year. So you do need to move to Buffalo for 1 year. That being said, it's the business lead that needs to be there. So ideally, I think it's going to be better if your whole team comes to wherever your business is running. You know, ultimately, if you win this competition or not, you probably want to be as a team in one location. Ideally, for 43 North, that's going to be in Buffalo, New York, starting in January 2015 if you do win this competition. Excuse me. Okay, it doesn't seem like a startup actually needs all of the prize money to get started, but it could jumpstart progress. Will that hurt the chances of winning? I'm not sure I understand the question. Okay, maybe I do. So if you don't, let's say you think you only need $25,000 to start your business, is that going to hurt your chances? Yes and no, I guess. I mean, it depends. If you only need $25,000, is it a really small idea, or do you only need $25,000 because it's a really small, large idea, but you only need a programmer and stuff like that, but it could be a really huge business opportunity. So we're just looking for big, scalable businesses. Hopefully, depending on how much money you actually need, I would think more money would help if it's a large idea. So hopefully that kind of answers the question. I don't think it's going to hurt your chances, but you should be able to use most of that money, hopefully. All right. Are there any ideas that are off limits, or are you only focusing on ideas related to medical technology, etc.? So we will not be accepting retail or hospitality. Retail being defined as a brick and mortar, where 60% or more of your revenue comes from that. So think like of a bar or restaurant. That those type of ideas aren't going to be accepted into this. We're looking for big, scalable businesses ideas. The majority we are seeing are technology-based, but we've seen the whole gamuts from life sciences through you name it. You know, we've seen everything. So. But to answer your question, no, retail and hospitality are the only two fields that we do not accept to 43 North. Grab a drink of water here. I'm from Buffalo. That's great. Why Buffalo? Why not Buffalo? I think this is a great initiative that is spurred by the Buffalo Billion, and it's a perfect time to kind of put Buffalo on the map and let people know that we're open for business, and ultimately that this is a great place to not only start a business and be successful, it's also a great place to live, raise a family, and the quality of life and everything going on here is great. Buffalo's booming. I'm looking outside here. I'm in the Buffalo News Building, and there's cranes, there's development. It's 72 degrees and sunny, so no, it's not snowing, and it doesn't snow here all the time. This is a great place to be. I think ultimately you're going to see that it's a great place to do business, and that's why Buffalo. Ben asks, how much detail would you like for the how much money do you need, and for what for question would you like a budget? Ben, you can answer this question along with any of the other questions is how you see fit. We aren't suggesting that you answer it one way or another. Whatever you think is the best way to tell your story about the how much money do you need and for what for question is the best way to answer that question in addition to all the other questions. Probably not the answer you're looking for, but it's the best one I can give you. Okay. From Anthony, my team and I, a team of 4, are behind a messaging app called Pincher, but we're having issues with getting funding even though it's a promising idea. Lawyer fees seem prohibitive. Are lawyers provided if we win? We're going to be providing mentorship. So if from mentorship, if you needed lawyers, I don't know. I don't want to say that we're providing free lawyers because I don't think I can say that, but we'll be providing mentors throughout the community, some of which that could be lawyers, and then it's up to them and you to ultimately decide how that relationship would work out. Is it going to be a fee-based? Is it going to be equity-based? Is it just going to be donated? So I hope that answers your question. Yeah, that's the best I can really answer that one. Hello, John. I want to start up a company in e-commerce, which is great. We have a great place in Buffalo, New York to do e-commerce. You can reach, I want to say, what is it, 45% of the country in 2-day shipping from Buffalo, New York, so that's a good thing. How could I get funding, or should I approach business angels for capital? There's plenty of ways to get funding. We're here today talking about 43 North because I think this is a great option to get funding. So I'm going to obviously be pro that because I think it's a very cool competition. That being said, I've gone all over the country and there's plenty of competitions that you could enter. I've seen the folks at Mass Challenge; they're doing great things as well, and we're trying to be friendly with those people, and they're helping us out extremely. So I think there's plenty of options. I would go if you want to see if this idea is viable. Ultimately, I think Startup Weekend's a great option to go to. I think you can pitch that idea, see if the room agrees with it, and then work on it and build it. And then for funding, I would happen to be biased and say 43 North is a pretty good option. We're only taking 5% equity. To confirm, all prize money is equity and not a loan. We take 5% non-dilutive equity in all the companies that win prizes in 43 North, which will be parsed out based on milestones set by 43 North themselves. So we aren't going to, if you win the $1 million, you won't be given the $1 million immediately unless you can prove need of it for that you need it right away. We'll have to set milestones, then we'll release it throughout the year. Re-answer how much money we need. We could build a case for each of the 3 prize levels. Any suggestions on how to address this? I would just honestly address the answer, how much money do you truly need? That's going to show that you know your business more than anybody else, and you should know your business more than anybody else. So ultimately, Tanya, I think you know how much money you ultimately need to run this business. So if you do need the $1 million, write down you need the $1 million and exactly what you need it for, and then answer accordingly. We will have no problem setting up headquarters in Buffalo and developing a team to be based in Buffalo, but our business lead will need to travel at least 25% of the times we launch our product in new cities. Will this be a problem? This shouldn't be a problem, no. If you're doing business and you need to go travel, a nice thing about Buffalo is we got some close flights to New York City, only an hour away. Boston, about an hour and 15 minutes. You're a couple hours drive from Toronto and Cleveland and Pittsburgh. So you got the whole Northeast here where you can get access to. And if you're going out there hustling and striking deals, I don't see how that would be a problem if it's helping you launch your business. Right, lots of questions. Let's see what Jeffrey's got here. I have a software company that is self-funded with a great idea. We're building it out now, but we need more staffing to accelerate things before we go live. From the choices we have, would you consider that an idea, pre-revenue, or revenue stage company? Self-funded with a great idea, we're building it now. If you're building it now, I would kind of lean towards it's the idea stage company or pre-revenue maybe. I would probably need to know more than the information you've given me, but it doesn't sound like you're a revenue stage company at the moment just yet. Okay, if my business is at the ideal level at the moment and is not as advanced as other companies that already have a product, will we be in a disadvantage? No. I answered this question earlier if you didn't see it, but all stages are going to be judged equally. We have different judging formats for each one to kind of level out that playing field for an idea stage, pre-revenue, and revenue stage company. So no, you will not be at a disadvantage at all. I understand that you have to relocate in order to make this work. Does it matter if you also have family to move as well? That's ultimately going to be your decision. If your family is going to relocate to Buffalo, New York, or is it just going to be you that relocates to Buffalo, New York? Me personally, I would want my family to move with me, but that's just me. So what ultimately is going to work for you, 43 North will help you with the process, but we will not be paying for you to move to Buffalo, New York. The money we provide you will be used for your business. All right, from Ben. Who will be involved with our companies and investors if we win and give 5% equity to 43 North? What kind of involvement will they have? So 43 North, the team here will be involved. Andrew Polkerbeck is our executive director who has extensive experience in venture capital, and he will ultimately, and some other folks probably, be the ones that kind of set these milestones with you to see what makes sense in regards to kind of releasing that money. So that's really the involvement that we would have, is just to set the milestones with you on what works best to kind of see where you would get that money that would be dispersed throughout the year. Yes, this is a great question, Bill. Will more than one judge review each application to make sure that more than one set of eyes evaluates an idea? Yes. There will be 3 judges to each application. During the application process for both judges and for applicants, you have to select, what industry your business is in, and we're going to pair those up accordingly. So if you're a life science company, as an applicant, you're going to be paired with life science judges. So you have subject matter experts that will be reviewing your application, and there will be 3 of them to each application. So yes, that's a great question, Bill. Is mentorship the only way 43 North will be involved with the winning companies? What other involvement will 43 North have an investor with 5% equity, and by whom? I answered the by whom part just 2 seconds ago, and we will also be providing an incubator. So that'll be, free working space for a year in addition to the mentorship, and in addition to the tax-free zones through the Startup New York program. So state taxes will be non-existent for the companies that win this competition, I should say. So excuse me. Anthony, how does relocation work? What is involved in that from LA? Other team members in New York. So if, Anthony, let's say you made it to the final round and you get to that top 11, we will fly you out for your presentations. We'll make sure your accommodations are taken care of and everything like that. But then ultimately, when you come back out here, which would be January 2015, that is on your own to make sure that you get out here to Buffalo, New York. So financially speaking, you will be the one making sure that that happens. Okay, what sort of support are you able to give team members in need of appropriate visa for their time in Buffalo? I'm British, but co-founder and mobile app lead are Nigerians. This is a great question as well. Let me see. Immigration is an issue for which we have good familiarity as a border city, with Canada being so close. Specifically related to Israel, we have strong support at the embassy level on the issue. In fact, embassy representatives were at our talk held at Tel Aviv University and expressed their support on this issue. We also have support throughout New York State for this. So 43 North will offer as much support as we can for those teams. We don't make any guarantees for visas, but we will be working with you very closely to make sure it's a seamless process. Will judges receive judging criteria to score the applications? If so, what criteria will they use? Judges will be answering, basically looking at your application, and on the right-hand side, they're going to have questions from 1 to 10 that they'll be answering on, and those will be based on the questions that you answer. So the best answer for the judging criteria, I could say, is actually the stuff that you're going to be submitting that they will be judging. So basically fill out that application as best as you can to answer those specific questions, and that's going to be the information they use to ultimately score your applications. I'll be putting together some notes on what we're looking for the judges, but that's for their use, yes. Excuse me. Okay, from David, how important will impact to the community be measured compared to profit and scaling? I ultimately think if you have a scalable, profitable business, it's going to have a pretty big impact on the community. So I think that's kind of why we're looking for high growth, high potential, scalable businesses. So hopefully that answers your question. We're looking for big, scalable businesses. It doesn't matter if they don't have to be like a pro Buffalo business. We just want great businesses to join this competition. All right, from Bill Evans, is the schedule for notifications still the same end of June for round 1? Yes. So round 1 actually ends May 31st. The judging for it will end in the end of June. And then you'll have from end of June, so July 1st, let's say, until around September, mid-September, September 14th, to do the round 2 stuff. So hopefully that answers your question. Excuse me. You said to write down how much money we need for idea, but we might be able to create our product with the 250,000, but we create a much better product with a $1 million prize. In that case, I would write what is going to make you the best possible product and put that into the application. That's how I personally would go about it. I'm not saying that's a recommendation, but if you know that to get the best possible business for you, it's going to take $1 million, then ultimately it sounds like you need $1 million. Go Bisons. All right. From Ken, I read about the tax-free zone. I was hoping you could explain that a little bit more. By the way, from Hamilton, so he's right up north here in Canada. Love Buffalo, go Bisons. So Ken, I'm not an expert on the tax-free zones. That being said, we obviously have experts here in Buffalo, New York. You will be paired from the 43 North incubator will be designated as a tax-free zone. So from my understanding, you get state taxes free. That's on any revenues and also on any employee salaries. So those will be tax-free. But that's really as much detail as I'm going to get into it because I don't want to lead you one way or another. I think the website for it is startupnewyork.gov. So I would check that out, read up on it, and there should be a lot more information. But once you come in, we'll get you settled up with all that stuff. So hopefully that answers your question. And yes, go Bisons, go Bills, go Sabres. Can e-commerce be? Okay. Can we apply to 43 North with the new form of social commerce? Can e-commerce be a sector to participate? Yes, e-commerce companies are definitely accepted into 43 North. The only the companies that aren't accepted are retail and or hospitality. As I mentioned earlier, retail is defined by 60% or more of your revenues come from a brick and mortar, like a bar, restaurant type thing. I got a second to breathe here. If you have any questions, if you just joined, you should be able to ask them into this question box that we have enabled here. That's been working pretty well so far, so I'm going to kind of keep going that route. So I'll hang out here for a little bit longer, and if I get questions, that's great. If not, I will probably be wrapping it up. So now is the time to ask questions, and it should be in the right-hand side of your screen. If that's not showing up, then I would go to the left-hand side of your screen. There should be a Q&A box that you can type in some questions. Something that comes to mind is that you can actually submit more than one application, but you can only be on one winning team. So if you have multiple ideas, you can submit them all. "31 viewers, someone's got to have a question." All right, well, I'll give it till 1 p.m. If I don't have any more questions, we'll kind of be looking at me, 30 people. So hopefully you guys have this, take advantage of this opportunity. Ask me anything that you want about the program itself and the application. There we go. Good question, Matthew. Is there any particular type of company that 43 North wants to see most? No, in that regard, we're not biased towards one way or the other. It's not like we're looking for life sciences or we're looking for high tech. We're just looking for ultimately big ideas. Okay, here comes the question. So no, there's not one industry that's going to be favored more than another. Okay, let's see from Casey. Are there any rules regarding relationships between businesses? This idea we are proposing would likely have its own LLC, but would also tie in nicely with another business that offers different but complementary services. Relationships between businesses. Casey, I don't know if it's my mistake that I don't understand the question. So I don't really want to give an answer to it because I'm not quite positive what you're asking. It doesn't sound like it would have any issues, but I'm not understanding that question, and I apologize. If you want to send it to me in an email, I can at info or Jon Jon at 43north.org. I can with some more detail, then hopefully I can get you the answer. And I apologize. Let's see this next one. I'm currently working on my idea, but helping someone else with his idea. Is it possible that I can submit my idea with my team and also be part of theirs? Team I'm helping to get me. Yes, as I was mentioning, you can submit multiple ideas, you can be on multiple teams, but you can only be on one winning idea. So hopefully that answers your question. Yes, you can be a part of that team and your team, but if both your teams win, that's not going to work. You have to be on one of the teams, you can't be on both. Which I think kind of parlays into this question. Can you submit more than one idea with different teams? Yes, absolutely. You can submit as many ideas as you want. You can only be on one winning team. All right, any proposition on how to balance immediate market opportunities in territories outside of the U.S. and the requirement to be based in Buffalo? I know that I can answer the second part of this question. I'm not sure I understand the first part of the question, so I'm going to start with the second part. The requirement to be based in Buffalo is a requirement. You need to be based here for 1 year, and that's going to be starting in January 2015. So we will help you with the visa process and do everything we can to make sure that you can get over here in January, but you will have to be here for 1 year. The business lead, CEO, ideally the whole team could be here. That would be great. But the first part of this question, immediate market opportunities in territories outside the U.S. How to balance that? Okay. It's a good question. I guess, ultimately, if the majority of your business is going to be done overseas and it's not going to be best for your business to be successful by having to stay in Buffalo, that's something you're going to have to weigh in and ultimately decide, is this the right competition for you? Or can you make it work somehow? And only you will know that answer. But you do have to be based in Buffalo for 1 year. So hopefully that answers your question. Bruce, how many applications have you received so far, and how many total do you anticipate receiving? We've exceeded our expectations. We are not releasing the number, as we'll be kind of releasing that at the end of the close of applications. Just know that we've blown away our expectations, and we're very excited about the amount of ideas we've had from all over the world. So as I mentioned earlier, 83 countries, 49 states. So it's been a really tremendous support throughout the whole world for 43 North, and it's very exciting to be a part of. And ultimately, I think it's going to be a tremendous opportunity for those people that win this competition, and even those people that don't win the competition. What are the odds of being a winning team? The exact odds, you would probably, if I could give you that number on how many people entered, you would know. But as I just mentioned, we aren't releasing that number as of to date, but you'll be able to do the math once we do release that number and kind of know what the odds are. And maybe if somebody wants to type in, is this session like helpful to you guys? Would you like to see different times of the day? This is 12:30 p.m. Eastern, which I figured lunchtime people might have off from work, but I'm going to probably do another one of these next week, and I'm trying to figure out, is it best to do it in the morning? Is it best to do it in the evening? Things like that. So if anybody wanted to type that in or shoot me an email at Jon at 43 North or tweet me at Jon P. Spitz, that would be greatly appreciated. I'll hang out a bit and see if any more questions come through here. All right, from Kelly. I have an idea, but working on building my team. Do I need to have my team in place before submitting my application? No, you don't. It could just be a team of one. That will be fine. So you don't need to have your team. I think it might be look better if you do have a team in place, but that's just me personally. That's not how it's going to be scored. So having a strong team, as I mentioned earlier, is always a strong thing from any investor standpoint. So hopefully that kind of answers your question. But yes, we've had plenty of people just submit an idea by themselves, and that's more than okay to do. From Anthony, what operating costs does the office include related to the office, utilities, etc.? You won't have to worry about anything in regards to that. You'll have superior Wi-Fi. Hopefully we're going to try to have wet labs if it was a company that needed those. Anything that your company is going to need, we're going to try to provide you guys. There will probably be even snacks, free coffee. I'm working out at Z80 Labs right now, which is a tech incubator in Buffalo, New York. And there's free coffee, there's snack bars, there's yogurts, there's muscle milk, there's anything you could really want. So, and there's bagel bites, there's junk food too. So there's cool stuff here, and there'll be cool stuff at 43 North ultimately. So you won't have to worry about anything in regards to like electric or internet, stuff like that. Do we need to incorporate as a company before applying to 43 North? Um, Ideally, I think it's going to be better if you do, because you need to have an S&E form such that we could take equity. So it's going to make it easier if you already have that form before you win, but you'll be able to do it after, but ideally you'll have that done beforehand. Will the QAs be available on the 43 North site? I'm assuming there's a QA section on that site. I'm thinking you're talking about the video we're doing right now. This will be on our YouTube channel, so this, if everything went according to plan, should just automatically upload to our YouTube channel after this whole session is done, and you should be able to watch that on your own time. So yes, fingers crossed that should work out, and that should all be online on YouTube. Bruce, one of our team members needs to remain confidential for the moment due to the current position with another high-profile company. Any suggestions or thoughts on whether this will hurt our application? That's really going to be up to you if you want to list them or not. I can't say if it's going to hurt or help. If it's your team, it would probably help you if you had him on there, and he's a really key player to that. But only you can know the answer to if you can actually list him or not. I don't know if it would help not listing his name and just saying team member X, but there's probably ways you can get around that to keep him confidential. So I'll leave that up to you, but maybe try to figure out a way to get him on there. Sounds like he's a pretty important person. So. I'm assuming this is what is the impact of having competition in the competition process? I think the question, it's good to have competition in anything, so like this is going to be a highly competitive competition with people from all over the country, all over the world, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it pans out. I don't know if that answered your question, Lewis, but I don't know if it was typed correctly either, so hopefully it did. Will 43 North, not 8, help identify mentors in specific industries of interest? To ventures, yes. We are looking to partner with another company here in New York State that will ultimately hopefully be able to pair you up very well with all the mentors that you need from both a business angle and a social angle to kind of get you implemented into the city and realize all the great things they do, from arts and culture to entertainment to food and everything like that. So on the business end, we will definitely pair you up with who you need in specific industries of interest, absolutely. That mentorship is one of the top reasons a business will fail or succeed, so we're going to make sure that you have some of the best mentors throughout the area, and if we don't have them in locally, we're going to make sure that you get them via other areas regions, etc. So yes, you will have great mentors to succeed in this program. Can team members draw salary from the prize money if they have to quit current job, or they can keep their current job? That'll ultimately be decided for the business itself. I don't think, when we set these milestones with the team, and if somebody told me that told us that they were going to give themselves $1 million salary, that's probably not going to be okay. So I hope that answers that question to an extent. Can they keep their current job? I don't think if someone's willing to keep their current job, that is ultimately somebody that's 100% focused on the business that they're trying to choose. We're looking for people that are fully committed to starting, a world-class business right here in Buffalo, New York. And I think in order to do that, you're going to need to be on it full-time, 100%. So yes, I would think these people probably want to give themselves some salary so they aren't eating ramen noodles all the time. But it's not going to be the $1 million as a salary. They aren't going to be living in the penthouse. But ultimately, I think it's not a requirement, but I think that they will need to be going full-time and not have another job kind of simultaneously in order to really succeed, not just in this competition, but as an entrepreneur. Would you prefer to see a full-on business plan or just an idea initially? Thomas, we're asking essentially in this round one, is the elements of it are essentially an executive summary, right? So that means, and that's why we're accepting ideas, we're accepting pre-revenue stage companies and revenue stage companies. So in round two, ultimately, you're probably going to end up submitting a full 10-page business plan when all is said and done. But for this first round, you can just be an idea, and you can answer that accordingly from the questions that we provide. So hopefully that answers your question. What percentage slice of the company must relocate to Buffalo? Can we maintain key operations in another country while moving support and US-based sales staff to Buffalo? Or must all key operations and leadership relocate to the Big B? The Big B, I've never heard that term, but I'm starting to like it. We need the key operations leadership people need to be in Buffalo, New York. So ultimately, leadership CEO needs to be located in Buffalo, New York. So I think that answers that question. But I like the Big B. That's cool. Stephen, this is a good question because this is our first time using Google Hangout. So I enabled this question session, and it seems to be working well. I think the problem I think we might run into if we had the video is that there might be a lot of different people coming in and out. That being said, I might try to figure this out and be able to add it where I could see other people. Let's see if I can do that now. Yeah, I don't know. Usually when I do a Google Hangout, people can just pop up, but I'm not seeing that. So. Lewis, we are incorporated in Ontario, but we need to be incorporated in the USA or the NAFTA agreement rules. This is a great question. I don't believe I have 100% the answer, so I'm not even going to try to answer it. I'm going to think that you need to be incorporated in the United States, but I don't have that answer 100%. If you want to email me that question, Lou, I know you emailed me before. I can run it by my executive director and get the right information for you. This has been great. John, are you or someone else available to answer similar questions in between these live chats via email? Ben, we are. We're trying to kind of get it so we can do all these question segments during times like this, because when you open it up to questions via email, which I try to do my best to get to every question, but in addition to answering those, I'm also trying to build this competition. So just forewarn, we're very busy, so it's easiest for us when you can get these questions out here in a forum like this when we have a dedicated time slot. But anybody on our team will gladly help try to answer any questions you have via email, via tweets, via Facebook, things such of that nature. How many team members are ideal at the idea stage? That's a good question. You know, is a team of one really a team? I don't know. I tend to not think so. I'm not judging these applications. I think the perfect number for your team is really however many people it takes to get that off the ground. So do you want 3 business people, or do you want, you know, a technical person, a business person, a design person, a lawyer, things to kind of round out the team? That's kind of the way I would look at forming a team. You want a teams that complement each other. So Anthony, if your skill is you're a business savvy person, you probably don't need that many other business savvy people. Maybe you need some technical people to kind of get your idea technology off the ground. So that being said, do you need to have more than one person on your team? Absolutely not. From the idea stage, you can apply with just one person on your team. If it's a really bang up idea, who knows, it might be able to make it through. So. So this is my boss, who's in India, I believe, at the moment. So maybe his internet connection kicked out on him after the comma, but we'll see what he says. Maybe he has some answers to some of the other questions that were asked, perhaps. Oh, there he is. He's in India. Like I said, check in. Great questions. Pretty good answers. Very cool. Hope everything's going well in India and you're staying cool. There's actually sun in Buffalo today. It's a gorgeous day in Buffalo. The trees are budding and the sun is shining, so it's all is good here. All right, guys, I'm parched. This was good. This was better than anticipated the turnout. So I'm going to get going, and we will be scheduling another one of these next week at some time. I'm thinking Thursday when I get back from Chicago. But if any of you 21 people happen to be in Chicago, I will be there on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I'll be at the Tech Cocktail event. So come stop by, say hello. But other than that, I'm going to sign off now. This should be on our YouTube page. If you don't already, follow us on Twitter at 43North, spelled out 40, then 3 North, and Facebook and all that good stuff. If you have any questions, reach out to me, Jon P. Spitz on Twitter, and jon@43north.org via email. Thanks, everybody.